From WKYC Studios, this is What's Next with Russ Mitchell and Lena Lai.
We are shot fired. Missouri Extension and everybody.
At this time, I would like to thank the men and women of the Lorain Police Department, the ones standing behind me. A lot of them responded to this call. Pray for the Lorain Police Department in the coming days.
166 men and women shot from January through June. And now we add 3 more names to that list.
We're a strong city, and we're going to move forward.
We pray for the officers' families.
Tonight, new developments after 3 Lorain police officers were ambushed and shot this afternoon. We have new images of the officers involved.
They are officers Peter Gale, Phillip Wagner, and Brent Payne. Here is what we know tonight. Just after 1 p.m. on Riverbend Drive, police say a man with a high-powered rifle opened fire on officers Gale and Wagner while they were eating lunch in their patrol cars. Responding officer Payne was also shot. 2 of the officers are seriously injured. 1 was shot in the hand. Tonight, the suspect is dead.
We thank you for joining us this evening.
We have live team coverage tonight. Annabelle Childers is in Lorain with details on what led up to the shooting. And CN New Yorker is digging into what we are learning about the suspect.
But we begin with Natalie Clydesdale, who is live outside of MetroHealth in Cleveland, where 2 of the wounded officers are being treated tonight. Natalie, what's the latest?
That's right, Russ and Lena. Well, tonight it's been pretty quiet here throughout the evening. We've seen multiple officers going in and out of the hospital to show their support. And right now there are still about a half a dozen police cars lining the street. We know that 2 Lorain police officers, Brent Payne and Phillip Wagner, were seriously injured and life-flighted here to MetroHealth Medical Center. They were both shot multiple times, according to the acting Lorain police chief. At last check, they were undergoing medical treatment. We have not gotten any update on how they're doing tonight. Officer Wagner is 35 years old. He was hired in 2022. And Officer Payne is 47 years old. He was hired in 2011. A few hours ago, the president of the Fraternal Order of Police of Ohio talked about the issue of violence against law enforcement. He noted that this year nationwide, more than 160 officers were shot from January through June.
And every day, these heroes behind me continue to come to work to protect and serve their communities, knowing that this violence continues to rain down on the men and women who swore an oath to protect people they don't even know. And even in the face of this violence, they'll be here tomorrow and the day after and the day after, because they're answering the call to protect and serve their communities.
From about 5 this evening through 9 o'clock, there was also a man showing his support for the officers. He walked back and forth with an American and a thin blue line flag. Again, we're still waiting for an update on how those 2 officers here are doing tonight. The police department says it's asking for prayers. Russ and Lena, back to you.
All right, Annabelle Childers reporting from, Natalie Clydesdale reporting live for us from MetroHealth Medical Center. Let's turn now to Annabelle Childers now with what we are learning about how this shooting unfolded.
Annabelle, I know we've been on the scene all day in Lorain. What are you learning tonight?
Well, for hours, there was so much speculation about what was actually going on. We watched as SWAT cars flew down this road, helicopters flew overhead. But police now tell us this was a horrifying shootout after a man attacked Lorain police officers. This afternoon, a continuous stream of emergency vehicles rushed down this dead-end road. Officials from both the Elyria and Lorain police departments later explaining the timeline of the tragic shooting that brought them here, an apparent ambush on Lorain police officers.
At approximately 1:05 p.m., officers Wagner and Gale had purchased a pizza parked at the dead end of Missouri Avenue.
Michael Failing, acting chief of Lorain Police, says officers Phillip Wagner and Peter Gale were eating their lunch, parked next to each other in separate patrol cars, when a man parked on the road suddenly started shooting.
He had an arsenal of weapons with him. He was laying in wait and opened fire with multiple rounds at both of the officers who were sitting in their vehicles.
Failing says Officer Gale was shot in the hand, while Officer Wagner was shot multiple times. They called for help, and a third officer, Brent Payne, responded before he too was shot multiple times by the suspect. More officers responded to the scene, and at some point, the suspect was killed, though Elyria Police Chief Jim Welsh says how he died is not fully clear.
I cannot confirm if the suspect took his own life at this point or if it was the return fire from law enforcement.
Chief Welsh described the suspect as a 28-year-old white man and described his weapon as a high-powered rifle. In the aftermath of the shooting, officers Wagner and Payne were airlifted to Metro. Officer Gale was also taken to a hospital for the gunshot wound to his hand. Elyria Police are now leading the investigation into the ambush, working alongside state and federal agencies.
We're trying to conduct an impartial but thorough investigation so we can determine exactly what transpired here and why this senseless act took place.
Now, a huge question left right now is why. Chief Welsh says they are fairly confident they know the identity of that suspect, but they're still working to determine a motive here.
Okay, Annabelle Childers in Lorain, thank you. Earlier, officers executed a search warrant at the suspect's home on North Lakeview Boulevard in Lorain.
Dozens of investigators are there looking for evidence in this case, and that's where we find Sia New Yorker, who continues our team coverage tonight. Sia.
Good evening, Russ and Lena. Just about 90 minutes ago, investigators wrapped and left here. Now, earlier today, law enforcement let us know that we could hear some loud explosions from the bomb squad. Now, I can confirm that we did hear 2 loud explosions while they were here combing through the evidence. Neighbors on North Lakeview Boulevard in Lorain stood watching, some shocked, as dozens of investigators descended on this home looking for evidence. City officials tell 3 News they were searching for any dangerous threats in connection to the suspect who allegedly shot 3 Lorain police officers. They have not officially released his name to the public. However, 3 News cameras rolling as investigators went inside the home, sometimes carrying items out. Multiple agencies, including SWAT and the bomb squad, were spotted on the scene. For much of the evening, neighbors watched as police worked, trying to get more information. Several told us they're in shock about this tragic incident.
We know most of our neighbors, and we walk our dogs to Lakeview Park every day and back again, and it just, you know, you can say hi to your neighbors every day, and you just never know what's really going on in their lives, and so that's why we really try to get to know our neighbors and, you know, get involved and just be there. My husband's a pastor at the local church, and so but we're here praying for the police.
Officers did tell us that the home in this area is safe. Now, in the coming days, we do expect to learn more about the suspect and his background. Russ, Lena.
All right, Sia New Yorker reporting live from Lorain. Thank you.
And right now, some residents in Lorain are gathering at the police department with candles. They came together in an impromptu meeting to pray for the officers as they undergo treatment for their injuries. This is a live picture there this evening. Of course, we'll continue to provide updates on the officers' conditions as they become available.
Now, earlier, the shooting forced a local daycare nearby to go on lockdown. Horizon Education Center is located down the street on Colorado Avenue. Many anxious parents had to wait to pick up their children. Roads were blocked, so some parents jumped out of their cars and went running into the building to find their kids. Officials say the lockdown was necessary due to the large police activity in the area.
Yeah, when I was coming in, they wasn't going to let me come through, and I told them I was coming here, and they let me go through. Yeah, so okay. They're safe here, though. They had it on lockdown, so I feel safe.
Okay, good.
I understand things happen and everything, but my main concern was making sure that she was good and she wasn't in a panic, and they did a good job making sure that she wasn't in a panic, so big props out to them. You know, now I'm just gonna get her something to eat, take her home, and we're gonna enjoy the rest of the day.
When parents asked about the shootings, the teachers said it was a chaotic day and they didn't know much about what was going on, but their main goal was to keep the students safe.
Also tonight, community leaders and lawmakers are sharing their support for the officers. Governor DeWine released a statement saying in part, quote, "Fran and I are praying for the 3 Lorain Police Department officers who were shot in the line of duty today, and our thoughts are also with their families, friends, and fellow officers in Northeast Ohio," end quote.
Meanwhile, Cleveland Mayor Justin Bibb also released a statement saying first responders put their lives on the line every single day, and to be ambushed like this is despicable. The Cleveland Division of Police is offering assistance, and our thoughts remain with the families, friends, and fellow officers of the Lorain Police Department. Cleveland is with you.
Cleveland Police Chief Annie Todd also wrote, quote, "The Cleveland Division of Police stands in solidarity with the Lorain Police Department during this difficult period," end quote.
And the Jameson Ritter Foundation also put out a social media post asking for the community to send prayers to the Lorain Police Department. Officer Ritter, who served with the Cleveland Division of Police, was killed in the line of duty last July.
We learned this evening that all Lorain City offices will be closed tomorrow and Friday. Mayor Jack Bradley says that decision was made to show support to police and to give the community time to heal.